Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Dirk. Thank you for joining our live virtual annual meeting. If you have a question or a comment you would like to make, after the meeting, you can stay on the line and leave a message, and United staff will get back to you in the coming days. And now, here is United Cooperative Services General Manager and CEO, Cameron Smallwood.
Thank you, Dirk. Thanks, everyone, for taking time to participate in your annual meeting today. We will be picking a lucky cash prize winner for those who participate tonight. Additionally, we're going to announce the winner of the $1,000 grand prize, $500 prize, and $250 prize of those of you who voted by mail, electronically, or at a ballot box at our offices at the conclusion of tonight's business meeting. And one of you participating tonight who stays with us until the end of the meeting will be the winner of a $2,500 cash prize. Our meeting vendor will provide us with that winner's information, and we'll announce that at the end of the meeting tonight. So now I'm going to turn the meeting over to United Board of Directors President, Patsy Dumas.
Thank you, Cameron. On behalf of United Cooperative Service Board of Directors and employees, welcome to United's 2022 annual meeting. Now I officially call this meeting to order. This marks the 84th year United has provided its membership with exceptional service and value. During our meeting each year, I take great pride in the fact that we can proudly honor God, our flag, and our country. On behalf of your Board of Directors and all United members, we thank and honor all the current and former servicemen and women. Thank you for serving your country and providing our freedoms. Now I'll ask United CEO Cameron Smallwood to give the invitation.
Pray with me. Lord, thank you for this wonderful day that we're all gathering here together to celebrate United Cooperative Services. We thank you for your wisdom and your guidance as we lead this cooperative for the benefit of our members and provide exceptional service and value to them. We ask that you continue to allow us to do that as we go forth, that you'll bless our members, bless the counties and the communities that we serve, and bless our state and bless our nation as we go forward in the year ahead. We thank you for this evening and the ability to gather together to discuss the cooperative's business. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Cameron. At this time, Secretary-Treasurer Tommy Cantrell will give his report regarding the meeting notice and quorum. Tommy?
Thank you, Patsy. I, Tommy Cantrell, Secretary-Treasurer of United Cooperative Services, state that on October 31st, 2022, a notice of the annual meeting was mailed at my direction to each member of the cooperative. The notice contained the agenda for the annual meeting and was mailed in accordance with the bylaws of the cooperative. Let the notice of the annual meeting and the proof of mailing be annexed to the minutes of this meeting. Those members who, in accordance with the bylaws of the cooperative, by corrected ballot mailed to members on September 27th of 2022, cast their votes in this year's director's election by mail, electronically, or by placement in ballot boxes at the cooperative's offices, constitute a quorum of the members. As has been customary, we would entertain a motion to waive the reading of the minutes of the 2021 annual meeting. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I have a second.
We have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the minutes have been accepted as presented. I now turn the meeting back over to President Dumas.
Joining tonight's annual meeting is your elected Board of Directors. These will include Larry Bays, your Vice President. He serves southwestern Erath, Hamilton, and Bosque counties. Your Secretary-Treasurer, Tommy Cantrell, serves eastern Erath, western Hood, northern Bosque, and northern Somerville counties. Clifford Deal serves eastern Johnson County, Alvarado, Venus, and Grandview. Ed Carden serves Lake Granbury area and the northeast Hood County. John Jones serves Keene, Joshua, and Godley. Harry Thompson serves Possum Kingdom area and Palo Pinto County area. And I represent the members of the Burleson-Mansfield area. Thank you all again for attending tonight's annual meeting. Your elected cooperative has endured numerous challenges over the last few years. While the pandemic was disruptive to all of us, nothing has ever challenged United operations more than the winter storm Uri in 2021. ERCOT's mandate to electric utilities during that event to rotate power outages in an effort to preserve the integrity of the Texas grid was only the beginning of a series of challenges. As you will recall, wholesale electricity prices surged to $9 per kilowatt hour during most of the storm. At that time, that was a time when United's normal wholesale power cost for that time period was hovering around 6 cents. And as we've reported since March 1st of 2021, United's wholesale power provider, Brazos Electric Cooperative, elected to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection due to a power bill that had approached $2 billion as a result of that $9 power cost that week. United immediately retained bankruptcy professionals to ensure our cooperative and to its membership that were protected as much as possible throughout the Brazos bankruptcy process. And while there is no outcome to a bankruptcy that is pleasant to everyone, we have worked very hard to keep our bill lower as much as possible from Winter Storm Uri. It was reduced as much as possible, and in a few minutes, United CEO Cameron Smallwood will provide an update on the bankruptcy and how our bill was significantly reduced as a result of our efforts. He will also give you an idea on where we see our power supply situation in the coming months, as Brazos is not to serve in that role anymore under the terms of the plan of reorganization of the Brazos bankruptcy. Despite this challenge that is finally almost behind us, there is so much to be proud of about your cooperative. Our employees have worked hard each and every day to provide you with exceptional service and value, whether it's been through helping you with the new connection, performing an energy audit to help you manage your usage, or helping members understand why the ERCOT wholesale power cost increased as a result of the natural gas and other market events. The employees showed up every day with one purpose, and that was to serve you exceptionally. One of the accomplishments that we're so proud of in our cooperative is that our employees provide exceptional service, but they also do it safely. Just a few weeks ago, they established 1 million hours without a lost time accident. By putting safety first, our employees do their very best for you, but they also go home in the evening to their loved ones. As, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the rapid deployment of our high-speed fiber optic internet service. We've now connected nearly 15,000 members to our world-class internet. And folks, they are loving it. And I know that there are thousands more waiting anxiously, and I'm sure some of you that are listening right now are in that situation. Our team is working as hard as they can to get you connected just as quickly as possible. As I turn the meeting over to Cameron, please know that our United employees, management, and board of directors continue to be committed to the mission of exceptional service and value, all while being fiscally responsible to you and to your cooperative. Thank you for participating in the annual meeting and for being an active participant in the cooperative business model. At this time, please welcome Attorney Rick Sorensen from the law firm McDonald Sanders. Rick will oversee the volume process.
Thank you, Patsy. As the next order of business, we will discuss the voting process. This year, 2 of your cooperative's 7 director positions are scheduled for election. The director positions for district numbers 6 and 7. In that regard, I would like to now introduce the chairman of the nominations committee, Mr. Frank Pace.
Thank you, Rick. In accordance with the bylaws, the Committee on Nominations was appointed by the Board of Directors, consisting of myself, Laurel McCracken, Kurt Yeager, Danny Watson, Jeffrey Taylor, Manny Blanco, and Dennis Hughes. The Committee on Nominations met on the 5th day of April 2022 with a quorum present. The meeting was conducted at the headquarters of the cooperative in Burleson, Texas, and the committee nominated in District 6, Ed Carden, in District 7, Mark Castleberry.
Frank, thank you, and thank you for the service of your committee. And we ask that those nominations be filed with the Secretary and added to the minutes. Following the nominations from the Committee on Nominations, incumbent Director Larry Bays was, pursuant to the Cooperative's bylaws, nominated by a written petition for the District 7 Director position. In accordance with the bylaws, a ballot was mailed to each member of record on September 27, 2022. The independent election processing firm, Survey and Ballot Systems, took custody of the ballots cast electronically by mail and by placement in ballot boxes at the cooperative's offices. These ballots were entrusted with Survey and Ballot Systems in light of their having 30 years of experience as an election processing firm, having begun in 1991 with co-ops, and today we have Tony Hoff of that firm with us. They serve in this process, election processing, for 250 or more electric cooperatives in the United States, and the 20-plus years of electronic voting tabulation, along with ballot voting. With the voting process complete now, I'll turn the meeting back to President Dumas.
At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our General Manager and CEO, Cameron Smallwood.
Thank you, Patsy. I'm very glad that all of you are participating in the annual meeting, your annual meeting, and I'd like to just go through a few slides with you and give you some updates about your cooperative tonight. First off, our mission is very simple. Our President Dumas several times to you, service and value of an exceptional nature is what we're after. So that's what we're after. That's what we strive for every day. We continue to do that and plan to continue to do that for a long, long, long time going forward. Your cooperative is a pretty large cooperative. We're over 72,000 member owners at this point, with actually right over 100,000 meters. We just recently crossed that amount here recently, so that's a really exciting time. We're one of the largest co-ops in the nation and in Texas. Our total asset base is over $700 million, and so we're not a small company. We're a pretty large company. And on the page, you can see the service area that we cover in Texas. All our parts of 14 different counties in North Texas. We do that with 205 employees, 7 offices. We have 12,000 miles of line and over 100,000 advanced meters. And one of the proud things that we can talk about is the member patronage or member dividends that we've returned over the past many years. Since 2000, we've returned almost $85 million of margins back to our members. I do realize we haven't done that the last 2 years, and that's directly because of the Brazos bankruptcy situation. But as that wraps up, which I'll talk more about here shortly, we hope to get right back to retiring member dividends in the near future. So glad to report that. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on at our cooperative is being efficient with your funds, which is part of the value equation. And on the screen right now, you'll see the average meter served by an employee at United is about 500. And when we compare to cooperatives that are similar size to us across the country, they serve about 430. So our employees do a lot more with fewer employees than other cooperatives of our similar size, which ultimately means we have less employees that you pay for in your bill every day. On top of that, we look at our operations and maintenance expense without power costs. So this is what we're paying per meter to provide operations and maintenance for your cooperative. We're at $359 per meter, whereas co-ops of our like size average about $392. And so while we do spend money on operations and maintenance, we do it very efficiently, and that's a benefit to you and the members and the power costs that you pay every day. Now, with that said, I would like to cover a few quick topics with you today, and that's the list that you see on your screen, but the current power cost situation that we've been dealing with, managing your energy use, the Brazos Electric bankruptcy, the Member Appreciation Day we recently had, and the status of the Internet, which I know many of you are listening probably specifically for that purpose tonight. But to start, let's talk about cost and where your cost comes from. for every bill that you receive. So every dollar on your bill is broken down. About 80% of that today is power costs. So that's what Brazos is billing us directly, and we just basically pass that cost to you. We don't mark it up in any way, shape, or form. And so whatever is billed to us, we bill to you. And that's 80% of your bill right now. The other 20% of your bill that you're paying is actually for the wires, the trucks, the people, and everything that we do at your distribution cooperative. And so we're a pretty small part of your bill right now is what you actually pay from month to month. So why is cost so high right now? And I know that we've had several town hall meetings, and maybe a couple of you that are on the call tonight have heard some of this before. But my bill is as high as it's ever been this summer. I've never had a bill as high as it's been. And I know many of you are saying the same thing. And I know you're frustrated because you called us and talked to us about it. And there's several factors that are causing that. And like I said, that is the Brazos cost that we're dealing with. Number one is increased fuel costs. And so we were in a market a year ago where natural gas prices were hovering between $2 and $3. And now they're hovering between $6 and $8. And it's a much more volatile market. And all of that has translated into higher power costs. So that is the key component causing the higher costs that you're dealing with right now. But there are more reasons, too. There are new regulations that we're having to be compliant with, weatherization, and there's market changes to make more generation available, especially during the peak times when it's really cold or really hot. And those costs are flowing through from ERCOT to United through Brazos. And so we've had to include that in our cost to you. And also the ERCOT market since Winter Storm Uri, which is 2 years ago almost, it's much more risk averse than it used to be, which has driven cost in the market as well. And so all of those factors are really the driving factors in why the Brazos cost has been higher than what you've seen in the past. Just so you can see a chart, we have to put at least one chart in here for you. Natural gas market price fluctuations, that's really what it affects the PCRF most. And you'll see the run-up in natural gas very clearly, and you'll see the corresponding cost increase with Brazos in the red line. And so it's very clear that natural gas is the key driver in causing our costs to go up. Now, what does that translate into the rates that you actually pay us? In the November rate watch, and for those of you that don't know, in your Texas Co-op Power, each month that we send that to you, we actually have a snapshot of the rate scenario that you're paying. And so if you don't watch your Texas Co-op Power, I'd encourage you to start. But this is the graph that we put in the Texas Co-op Power. This is the November 22 rate watch, and you'll see our rate at 15.92 cents, and this is based on 2,000 kilowatt hours of usage. And we've actually been at that rate pretty stable for some time now. I'll say the rates around us continue to move up and down. Encore's REP average rate currently is at 15 cents, a little over 15 cents, so not much different than us. But they've actually been at 17, 18, 19, and even as high as 21 and 22 in the past 6 months. So we've been at 15.9 while their rate has been moving all around. And Texas, New Mexico has also ranged. Currently they're at 17, but they've ranged as high as 23 and 24 cents. So we've been at 15.92 cents that whole time that the volatility has been going on in the market. So we've been providing you value, even though that you probably don't feel like it. Our goal as we go forward is to continue to figure out ways to get this cost lower. I'll talk more about the bankruptcy impacts to that here shortly. Not to make matters worse, we also had, along with the high rates, one of the hottest summers on record. It's actually the second hottest summer on record. We had 100-degree days, 27 out of 31 in just July were 100 degrees or higher, over 40 days in this summer. And so you combine that with the highest rates that we've probably ever had, means the highest bills that we've ever had. And like I said earlier, I've had the highest bill I've ever had this summer, and I know you have too. And we don't love the fact that that's happened, but it's very understood as to why it's happening. Your HVAC system, which is the key component to your energy use, basically never stopped running. If it did, it didn't stop very long. And so that's what used most of your energy this summer. And thankfully, we've got a little reprieve from that right now, and bills are quite a bit lower. So the benefit of being a member and owner of your cooperative is we continually work for ways for you to use less energy. And so we have a tremendous amount of tools available to help you use less energy. The key one that I'll highlight right now is the energy audit. We've done thousands of energy audits this year, basically meeting with our members and going into their homes and looking at insulation and different things of that nature to try to help our members understand how they can use less energy. And we have rebates that help our members make upgrades. If you haven't used our HVAC tune-up rebate, you're missing out on an opportunity to make sure your unit's efficient, and you should do that. You should look into that. But we have all these different ways to help our members reduce their cost, and I would encourage you to look at our website, look at our Facebook page. We continually communicate on those issues. Also, we understand that a number of our members are challenged with their income right now, either through loss of job or other issues, and we have operations in place through our Operation Roundup, and we fund a number of local assistance organizations, and we hope that you reach out to them if you need that help, because we are funding it through the Operation Roundup program, and we see our members are using it right now, probably more than we've seen in a long, long time, and so we're glad to be able to do that. Now we're going to shift topics a little bit and talk about the bankruptcy and sort of where we're at there. I will say this all started with Winter Storm Uri. There may be a few members on the call that weren't here in Winter Storm Uri back in 2021 in February. It was the start on Valentine's Day, great Valentine's Day present. We all got to start rotating outages across the state and had really cold temperatures. It was a really bad situation for the state of Texas. Hundreds of billions of dollars of lost income, if you will, or economic impact. Energy prices were at the high cap, the market cap, so this is the wholesale price of energy, was at $9 a kilowatt hour for 4 days, which caused extreme stress across the ERCOT market. And a number of people died, hundreds. And it was a really bad situation. And so a lot of things have been put into place legislatively and from an ERCOT and operational standpoint to try to help that from happening again. Hopefully we're in a much better position today than we were 2 years ago, but ultimately we have to deal with the outcome of the financial piece of that. Now, operationally, your cooperative did really well, and we've had probably thousands of comments from our members about how well we handled the operations of our system during that time. And so we made sure the lights were on as much as we could, and we tried to be fair with the rotation of outages across our membership, and overall we did a good job with that. But we did have a financial implication through Brazos, and because we're an owner of Brazos, we had to deal with that. And so as a result, we had really big bills at Brazos. Brazos held those bills at their level. They did not send them to us immediately. They filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy to deal with that. Had we billed that to you, it would have been close to $2 a kilowatt hour billed to you. So it wasn't abnormal for a member to use about 5,000 kilowatt hours during that month. And so if you could imagine us sending a $10,000 electric bill to you, many of you would not have liked that very much, and we understood that. Very easy to understand. And so we've gone through a very long and exhaustive process through this bankruptcy, understanding we need to do everything we can to protect our members. The good news is the bankruptcy exit plan was confirmed on Monday of this week in the bankruptcy court, and I think it's a really good step in the right direction to get us over this hump and move forward. So I'm going to talk about a few of those points with you. The first point as a part of the exit is Brazos will no longer be United's power supplier beginning March 1st of 2023. That's going to be our responsibility at United going forward, and we're working on acquiring that power right now as we speak, and we hope to get that at a cost that's very, hopefully even better than what we were paying Brazos before, very competitive with what Brazos was doing before. Brazos will continue as a company, but they will only operate as a transmission and distribution company going forward. They will no longer operate as a generation company, and so they will be selling their generation assets, and that process has actually started. We have the responsibility for procuring that power as we go forward. Brazos will bill us a bill, and that's coming any day now. Originally, and with the bankruptcy, that cost had gotten up to about $560 million to financially settle all the claims with Brazos and thus ERCOT, but we've been able to reduce that, and I'll talk about that here in a second. And the state of Texas, your legislators actually approved a bill called Senate Bill 1580 that the governor enacted after the last legislative session to allow cooperatives to securitize or borrow money with low-cost bonds and pay that out over a long period of time. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. And so from the 560 through the bankruptcy mediation process, we've been able to get that bill down to about $440 million. So a savings of about $120 million to the membership. And so while we're pleased with that, we would like to have seen more reduction, but we in a bankruptcy, many people have said if you've got a pretty good settlement in bankruptcy, if nobody's happy, and that's sort of where we've ended up. Nobody's 100% happy with where we're at, but ultimately we have gotten a very significant reduction in the bill that's going to be billed to us from Brazos. Ultimately, we have to figure out how to pay for it, and through review of different options and the Senate Bill 1580, we've determined the lowest cost and the least impact way to deal with this is to use the securitization law, and that's going to allow us to borrow long-term and spread this cost over a long time. Right now, we don't have a final cost because the bonds haven't been sold. We're in the process of marketing those bonds right now. The securitization charge we're estimating will probably be about 1.3 cents a kilowatt hour, and when that does hit the bills, that will be placed into the TCRF bucket, and so you're aware of that. So if you use 1,000 kilowatt hours, that fee would be about $13 additional in that month. And so we feel like that's a much better approach than to bill you that $10,000 bill that I was talking about earlier. We feel like the $13 to $20 range is much more affordable for our members to deal with over a long period of time. Now, the law itself that was passed in Bill 1580 that we're using to fund this, it requires for us to apply this charge to all members. And so all members now and all members into the future. So as we grow going forward, the good news is we're going to spread that cost over more members as we go forward, and the cost will actually come down over time as we grow. And so that's good news. And so this $13 per 1,000 kilowatt hours, that's sort of the start cost. It'll go down over time. We're working really hard to secure new power right now in such a way to get that power cost lower, to eat up this increase, if you will, and hopefully even more. And so our goal is in March, April of this coming year, as we go forward, that we're able to actually be a lower than 15.9 cents, including the securitization charge. And so I think that's achievable, but we're working on that right now, and we'll have more information as we go forward and sign agreements. Last thing that we're really excited about, and your cooperative had a lot to do with this in the bankruptcy process, but is a hardship fund has been established. So those that are a certain income level or below will be able to apply to this hardship fund, and ultimately your securitization charge will go to zero because it will get paid for by the hardship fund. And $140 million out of the bankruptcy settlement will go into this fund. So it's going to fund a lot of members for a long period of time, and we're really excited that that's in place for our more challenged members financially. I'm going to shift to Member Appreciation Day, and I want to just thank everyone that was able to show up. We probably fed close to 1,000 folks that showed up to our local offices on October 14th. We had a great time. What the employees did, getting to visit with each of you. And so we plan to do that going forward. We've had great reports from all of our members that they really love doing it this way as opposed to meeting in an annual meeting in one location. They like it being local to their communities for the most part. I think it's over 90% of our members that we surveyed had said that. So we're going to continue that going forward, and we just hope you'll make time to attend that as we go forward in the future at your local office. Now I'm going to shift to a topic that many of you have been waiting for me to talk about, and that's the Internet. And so as of today, we've installed over 4,600 miles of fiber on our poles. And that's a lot of work to be done in about 2.5 years that we've been working on this project. We have connected 15,000 subscribers, and so that's a lot of folks, but I know there's a lot more of you that are very frustrated with this right now because you're not one of those that have been connected. If you remember, and some of you probably don't remember, but when you voted as members for us to move forward with this project, one of the key things that we told you is that this was going to be a 60-month project. And then we're measuring that from about February and March of 2020. So if you measure that, we're not quite 3 years into the project yet, which means we've still got some time to go to get everybody built and connected. So we're working hard at it. We've got hundreds of contract personnel that are working on this along with our own employees to try to make this happen as quickly as we can. The good news is the majority of our members are very, very happy with the performance of the network. And I can see online here where people are making a few comments. And the first comment I saw, no question, just a comment, the UCS Internet is the best thing since sliced bread. Thanks for installing. So I wanted to highlight that comment to you. Because the members that have it, and I've recently gotten it myself, and it's a game changer. And so we're really excited to be able to bring that to our members. As far as registering, if you haven't registered, we've built out Johnson County significantly. It's not completely done, but significantly Johnson County's been completed. And if you haven't signed up yet, this is what I want to encourage you. So we've looked at some of the data, and there's a handful of members that voted yes for us to move forward with the project, but you've never signed up for internet. And so for the financial viability of the project, we really want you to sign up for the service. And so if you would, go to our website at ucs.net. You'll see the internet, and you can go sign up for our service. And even in areas that we haven't gotten to yet, if you're in some of the more rural counties, in Bosque or Erath or Palapena, please go ahead and sign up so we know that you're wanting the service. It'll better help us to coordinate where we go next as we go forward. So really looking forward to continuing to expand this system, and we expect to expand it for a number of years to come, and then continue to hopefully have that exceptional service and value with the internet product as well. So I appreciate all of your attendance tonight. I appreciate the fact that you support your cooperative the way you do, and the employees the way you do, and just appreciate you spending time with us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. At this time, I will ask Tony Hoff from the election processing firm, Survey and Ballot Systems, to announce the results of the election.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tony Hoff from Survey and Ballot Systems. We are the independent third-party election firm that partners with United Cooperative Services this year to administer the 2022 director election. And we're proud to be a part of the first election with online voting. A summary of the election is as follows. Eligible number of voters, 69,825. Paper ballots cast, 2,589. Online ballots cast, 2,419. The total returns were 5,008. The percent returned was 7.17%. On to the results by district. District 6, Ed Cardin, 4,598 votes. Ed ran unopposed and was the winner of District 6. District 7, Mark Castleberry, 2,720 votes. Larry Bays, 1,967 votes. The winner is Mark Castleberry. Thank you to everybody who participated in the 2022 election.
Thank you, Tony. Please annex to the minutes of the meeting the count of the election signed by the election processing firm representative. At this time, we know the prize drawing is a major highlight of the meeting. Like last year, all members who dialed in or logged on and whose phone number or name can be associated with their United account are eligible for this year's drawing, and that's for a cash prize of $2,500. Before we draw for that prize, we will announce the winners of the cash prizes for those members who voted in this year's director election. They are $250 for Paula Compton from Burleson, $500 to Russ Follis from Granbury, and $1,000 to Jane Kennedy from Mansfield. Now, our meeting vendor who provided the virtual platform for tonight's meeting has randomly selected the winner for the $2,500 prize, and we will announce them at this time. The winner is Alvin Betzel from Venus. Congratulations, Mr. Betzel. and you are the winner of the big $2,500 prize. Now, as announced earlier, if you have questions or input in your cooperative, please hold or leave your message, or you can always call your Electric United office next week or go to our website at UCS and click Contact Us. Thank you for participating in this year's annual meeting. The meeting is adjourned. God bless and good night.